Joins us right now, Texas, the House Homeland Security Chairman. Do you think, Mr. Chairman, there is any chance that we will get any news or update or progress before Election Day?
We have requested this be expedited for obvious reasons, but Neil, having worked at the Justice Department myself, that would be record speed for any case with new evidence to be processed within that short a period of time. However, it's very serious. Enough where they got probable cause to get a search warrant to obtain these 650,000 additional emails found on the laptop.
How do we know there are that many, Chairman? I'm sorry. How do we know there are that many? Because that's a lot right there.
Well, there are that many. The question is how many are tied to the Clinton private server. And that's a question I don't know the answer to.
Do we know any rough idea how many are duplicates of those that the FBI has already screened?
What we know is that the FBI obtained what's called metadata to determine that the Clinton private server was tied to Huma Aberdeen's laptop, which she was sharing with her husband, Anthony Weiner, and that in terms of how many, the numbers, we don't know that right now.
Do we know whether Ms. Aberdeen knew that her husband had all this stuff on his laptop?
Well, obviously, the information tying the laptop to the Clinton server was pursuant to an investigation, the ongoing child predator case against Anthony Weiner, and that's how the FBI stumbled, if you will, onto this. And it's unfortunate. Obviously, Huma Aberdeen must have known she had this on her computer. She had an obligation to turn over these emails, and she failed to do so. You know,
another thing that comes up is that for a while, and refresh my memory, Chairman, because I could be wrong, but Congressman Weiner worked for a PR company and often carted around this said laptop. So if that's just sort of hanging out on someone's desk, I mean, that's a lot of people who could have had access to it. And you talk about pay it forward. That's paying something bad forward, and a lot of emails and other things that could have gotten into other people's hands, the magnitude of which we don't know. But are there thoughts that this went beyond just these two?
You know, it's been reported that that is possible, and I think it's highly likely. She shared this laptop with Anthony Weiner. We know his character. All he has to do is tie that to some other portlet outlet on the outside. There's a reason, Neil, why we have security protocols in place. It's to prevent this type of highly classified information you and I have talked about from getting into the private sector, both into our foreign adversaries' hands, but also into hands, in this case, into an alleged child pornographer. But we don't know what he did with the laptop, which makes it vulnerable from a cybersecurity standpoint. This is why we have laws pertaining to the handling of classified information. The reason she chose a private server, in my judgment, was to circumvent the Freedom of Information Act, so she wouldn't have to produce these emails to the American people, thereby circumventing the law and the American people.
Real quickly, sir, about your state of Texas, less pink than some people thought, that might be returning to red. I know different city polls that produce different results, but we do see Mr. Trump reestablishing leads in states that once had looked dicey, within, you know, a shot of being even or winning in some of these other states, building mightily on a Missouri lead that was 5 points, now I believe closer to 12. What do you think is going on?
Well, I think the national trend is tightening. I predicted that a while ago. I think with the latest Hillary scandal, that now it's tightening even more. I would say in my home state, I've never been concerned about it, just given what I've seen on the ground with the long lines in very Republican polling districts. Right now, the polling somewhere between 5 to 7 points. I would not be surprised if that lead is much greater.
All right. Thank you, sir, very, very much for taking the time. Chairman Michael McCaul, House Homeland Security Committee. All right. There might have been